All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 26th chapter, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, text number 52. Etad andam visheshakyam
Etadanda Visheshakyam
krama vridair dashotarai
Rama Vidai Dashotarai
toyadivi parivritam
Yadivi Parivitam
pradhanena vritair bahi
Danena Vitai Vahi
yatra loka vitanoyam
Yatra Loka Vitanoyam
rupam bhagavato hare
Rupam Bhagavato Hare
etadandam visheshakyam
Etadanda Visheshakyam
krama vridair dashotarai
Vidai Dashotarai
toyadivi parivritam
Yadivi Parivitam
pradhanena vritair bahi
Danena Vitai Vahi
yatra loka vitanoyam
Loka Vitanoyam
rupam bhagavato hare
Rupam Bhagavato Hare Etad Andam Visheshakyam
tadandam visheshakyam
Krama Vidai Dashotarai
krama vridair dashotarai
Toya Vidi Parivritam
toyadivi parivritam
Pradhanena Vritai Vahi
pradhanena vritair bahi
Yatra Loka Vitanoyam
yatra loka vitanoyam
Rupam Bhagavato Hare
rupam bhagavato hare
Etat andam visheshakyam
etadandam visheshakyam
Rama Vridat Dashotarai
Krama
vidrai shotarai
Toya Divi Parivritam
toyadivi parivritam
Pradhanena Vritai Vahihi
Vritna Vritanaji
Yatra Loka Vitanoyam
Latra Loka Vitanoyam
Rupam Bhagavato Hare
Rupam Bhagavato Hare
Etadandam visheshakyam
Etadandam Visheshakyam Mavidai Dashotarai Toyadivi Parivritam Danena Vritar Bahi Yatra Loka Vitanoyam Rupam Bhagavato Hare Etat this andam egg Vishesha Akyam called Vishesha Krama one after another Vridai increased Dasha 10 times Utarai greater Toya Adibihi by water and so on Parivritam enveloped Pradhanana by Pradhana Avritai covered Bahi on the outside Yatra where Lokavitanaha the extension of the planetary systems Ayam this Rupam form Bhagavata of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hare of Lord Hari. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. This universal egg, or the universe in the shape of an egg, is called the manifestation of material energy. Its layers of water, air, fire, sky, ego, and Mahatattva increase in thickness one after another. Each layer is 10 times bigger than the previous one, and the final outside layer is covered by pradhana. Within this egg is the universal form of Lord Hari, of whose body the 4 planetary systems are parts. Purport. This universe, or the universal sky, which can visualize with its innumerable planets, is shaped just like an egg. As an egg is covered by a shell, the universe is also covered by various layers. The first layer is water, the next is fire, then air, then sky, and the ultimate holding crust is pradhana. Within this egg-like universe is the universal form of the Lord as the Virat Purusha. All the different planetary situations are parts of his body. This is already explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam's 2nd canto. The planetary systems are considered to form different bodily parts of the universal form of the Lord. Persons who cannot directly engage in the worship of the transcendental form of the Lord are advised to think of and worship this universal form. The lowest planetary system, Patala, is considered to be the soul of the Supreme Lord, and the earth is considered to be the belly of the Lord, Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka, or the highest planetary system where Brahma lives, is considered to be the head of the Lord. This Virat Purusha is considered an incarnation of the Lord. The original form of the Lord is Krishna, as confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Adi Purusha. The Virat Purusha is also Purusha, but he is not Adi Purusha. The Adi Purusha is Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vrigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is also accepted as the Adi Purusha, the original. Krishna says, "No one is greater than I." There are innumerable expansions of the Lord, and all of them are Purushas or enjoyers, but neither the Virat Purusha nor the Purusha avatars, Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, nor any of the many other expansions is the original. In each universe, there are Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, the Virat Purusha, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. The active manifestation of the Virat Purusha is described here. Persons who are in the lower grade of understanding regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead may think of the universal form of the Lord, for that is advised in the Bhagavatam. The dimensions of the universe are estimated here. The outer covering is made of layers of water, air, fire, sky, ego, and Mahatattva, and each layer is 10 times greater than the one previous. The space within the hollow of the universe can be measured by any human scientist or anyone else, and beyond the hollow there are 7 coverings, each one 10 times greater than the one preceding. The layer of water is 10 times greater than the diameter of the universe, and the layer of fire is 10 times greater than that of water. Similarly, the layers of air is 10 times greater than that of fire. These dimensions are all inconceivable to the tiny brain of a human being. It is also stated that this description is of only one egg-like universe. There are innumerable universes beside this one, and some of them are many, many times greater. It is considered, in fact, that this universe is the smallest. Therefore, the predominating superintendent, or Brahma, has only 4 heads for management. In other universes, which are far greater than this one, Brahma has more heads. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is stated that all these Brahmas were called one day by Lord Krishna on the inquiry of the small Brahma, who after seeing all the larger Brahmas was thunderstruck. That is the inconceivable potency of the Lord. No one can measure the length and breadth of God by speculation or by false identification with God. These attempts are symptoms of lunacy. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Praladananda Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashirade Shatarine. So we read the text again. This universal egg, or the universe in the shape of an egg, is called the manifestation of material energy. Its layers of water, air, fire, sky, ego, and Mahatattva increase in thickness one after another. Each layer is 10 times bigger than the previous one, and the final outside layer is covered by pradhana. Within this egg is the universal form of Lord Hari, of whose body the 14 planetary systems are parts. Very interesting text. And commentary by Srila Prabhupada, especially the last phrase. Just read it again. This is funny. That's the conclusion of the commentary. These attempts are symptoms of lunacy. What is Prabhupada speaking about? He's more or less speaking about the attempts of the contemporary scientists to understand how the universe is working. Srila Prabhupada takes advantage of this detailed description in Bhagavatam to explain that the scientists have no idea what's going on. So there's other parts in the purport. But let's start with that and let's see. He's using this very complicated thing, how these different layers are, to show that it's beyond our comprehension. 7 layers, 10 times bigger than the universe, means that the last layer is 10 million times bigger than the universe. 7 power, it means 10 million times bigger. So it's that much bigger than the universe. So the scientists say, oh, we know everything. Actually, not even this, the universe, the inside of the universe, they have seen everything. But how about all these outside layers? So Srila Prabhupada really likes to challenge the scientists, because we'll see later. So for example, he's always challenging with the moon. When they so-called landed on the moon, Srila Prabhupada, everyone, the devotees brought a TV screen to. It was new; nobody had a TV at that point, so they brought a TV to Prabhupada's room, and they were looking at how they landed on the moon, and Prabhupada said, "Oh, this is a farce. This is not true." Because according, and the argument he gives is that actually, according to the Vedic descriptions, the moon is further than the sun. So, not by much, but it's further than the sun. And he even gives example, because these days of the week are according to the sun planets. And he says, even in English, you have Sunday, Monday. Sunday, and then Moon Day. And the first is Sunday, and then the second is Moon Day. So the moon is further away. So he uses this very sometimes very simple argument. He's using, everyone knows if they do agriculture, they understand that the moon is there. As far as I understand, the plant actually grow by the light of the moon, not by the sun. So they know this kind of thing. So how can this happen if the moon is just a bunch of, some earth there? There's supposed to be no water on the moon, You can try to make a dough without water. You put some flour and you don't put water. And you're like, okay, we have a dough, very cohesive dough. And then you throw it in the air and it's like all over. No, of course there's some water, you know. Otherwise, how does all the everything stick together? Because the water is the cohesive element. So that's why it's nice that you have this book, Life Comes from Life. Srila Prabhupada usually gives inside, I didn't read it recently, but Srila Prabhupada usually gives logical arguments. He doesn't go into very scientific way of explaining things because Srila Prabhupada is not a scientist, but Srila Prabhupada knows very well the Vedas. So he understands, okay, you're wrong. You're not saying what the Vedas saying, okay, you're wrong. Lamanchita Prabhu mentioned the chicken challenge. I think it was somewhere in Malaysia they did. Somewhere in that area. They had this 1 week of, or I don't know how much, 3 weeks I think. I think it takes 3 weeks to make a chicken. So they had they had a hen, and they said, we challenge any scientist. You know, we have contender 1, the hen, and we have other contenders. So scientists are also welcome to join. And the hen will make something living. So we challenge to see who's better scientist, the hen or the so-called scientist. So they really promote it like crazy, you know, like there was like huge promotion, and you know, of course nobody came, you know, no scientists actually came. So even according to modern scientific frame, there's science means that you have a theory, and then you have some experiments. You know, you say, okay, life comes from matter. Okay, perfect. What chemicals do you need? You go into the lab and you make something alive, you know, like Srila Prabhupada say, make a blade of grass, you know, make something, anything, it doesn't matter, but make something. And they cannot, because, so this is not very scientific, actually. You know, you have a theory, then you have to prove it. Okay, what's the proof? We have a Big Bang, you know, there's, everything is supposed to come from the Big Bang. I guess the scientists, when they want to build a house, they have some bricks there, and they bring some dynamite, you know, and then they explode it, and then the bricks fall and everything, and then they have a house. No, that's not how it works, you know. Nothing is produced by an explosion. We'll come back to this. Actually, I was reading an article that NASA discovered some remnants of the Big Bang, you know, some gas or something, you know, some trace, you know, and their conclusion was that was a controlled explosion. No, I mean, this was the NASA, conclusion. And I was like, yeah, very nice. Controlled by who? So there was nothing, but it was a controlled explosion, you know. Nothing happening there, and then everything, you know, went smooth, you know, because it was not like, it was like very smooth and so on, you know. That was their conclusion. So I was like, who controlled this explosion? It just happened. So Srila Prabhupada, he's generally using in preaching this kind of very simple arguments, but he also wanted to have scientist devotees who can look a bit into the theories that are presented, And can say, hey, this is not really scientific. There's probably quite a few books. There's one book which is at some point rethinking Darwin. There's also a PhD in biology in Hungary. I was once at one of his presentation, Ishvara Krishna, I think, something like this. I don't know. I don't remember the name. So they were like, okay, good. We're not religious fanatics. I'm a scientist, you're a scientist. Let's talk science. So he was presenting things on these terms. He had a lot of presentations. Some devotees do that, and then you're like, hey, this is not scientific. This is not according to the modern science framework. I'll just give some examples. For example, Darwin had this idea that the cell is something, very simple. It's some blob, some gelatin, something, that came. Because at that time they didn't have very good microscopes. So they were looking, the cell is something fishy there. So Darwin had this idea that the cell, I don't know, it's very simple, so it came about somehow. And now they have these very complicated microscopes and very powerful, and they look at the cell inside and they say, "Whoa, technology." Solen's Pranadananda Maharaj says it's more complicated than New York. A cell, one cell, You have transport system, there are automatic assembly systems, this system, that system. There's like, wow. So all this, so the initial assumption of Darwin is like that it somehow came about, it's very simple, so it came about somehow. Like, whoa, wait a minute, this is very complicated, there is very complex thing. So that's already, this assumption doesn't hold so well, like. And then they have this, now they see, eventually the scientists, they created some life. There's, I don't know the details, I was looking into this some time ago. So then you have the basic piece is called the amino acid. And by putting this together, you have you can make some protein or thing, or molecules or something. And then, but it's many amino acids, And then this, and you need many of these, and so on. It's very complicated. So the point, at some point, the scientists finally said, made in the lab these amino acids. They made them. They simulated the early Earth atmosphere, and then they get some electric arc or something like this, and then they found they had this amino acid. So like, see, look, alive, yeah. So they were very happy, and they're using it, like, wow, you see, something is happening. Many then amino acids, then proteins, then this, and so we're in the process. And then they figure out that actually the environment that they created was not really according to what the early Earth environment was looking like. So then they repeated the environment with what they thought, okay, no, we were wrong, but now this is the actual environment. And guess what? They didn't make any amino acids anymore. So that was the successes of the modern science. Like, okay, we made some amino acid, one, but in the wrong environment. So anyway, that was false also. And by making this amino acid to make a protein, I think protein is called, you have to put them in a sequence. It's very complicated. It's not that you just smash them together. They have to be in a sequence and in a certain angle, And then they have to be, everything has to be, perfect. And then you put 50 of that or something, and you make a protein, you know. So then, but it's not, and if it's this amino acid, this type doesn't come at the right time, then it doesn't work. So you have to be a few things like in a sequence coming at the right time, and then you have a protein, and then you can make something else. If you understand probabilities, then you understand that they multiply. So if you have 50, it's power. It gets to the power 50. It's 10 at 50 power, which is a lot. It's huge numbers already, So probability. There's this scientist. It's called Intelligent Design Society. You heard about it? So they are Christians with PhDs. They're intelligent Christians. So they are like, okay, let's discuss, So they compute. They're like, okay, so what's the time of the Earth? I don't know what they have.
4 million years.
Yeah, something like this. So these combinations, what's the probability that one protein is created by chance? And the answer is 0. Because actually this 4 million whatever years is very short, time. I don't know. Then they had this idea, Darwin had this idea that by mutation you'll create a new species, Because he saw that if you breed the dogs in a certain way, you get bigger dogs, smaller dogs, like this kind of dogs, and you can make the alpha dog by checking the parents and so on. So that was his theory, that by mutation he created different species. And then they figured it out that actually that's not how it works. By mutation you can create a bigger dog or a smaller dog, but it's a dog. So since you're it's like for IT engineers, you have a software and you have 5 parameters, 10 parameters there, and you can update. You have a range, and you can have, you can have it from 1 to 5, but it's the parameter. It's already in the design, and you cannot move outside this range. So the point is that from dogs you create dogs, and they had. You can have these raisins, you can have like this or like this, but not more. You can have, they had some sugar plant, they got to 90% sugar or something, but not more. So the point is that this mechanism that Darwin said that it's going to create new species, it's not. Because it's a mechanism by which you can, inside this species, you can find something like this or like this, but it's a dog. Dogs are dogs. And now they have this neo-Darwinism, because actually they say, okay, then you have to modify the DNA, okay, then this and this gets modified, which is even less probable, because you have to modify many parts of the DNA. It's not that the difference is just one bit. Like in IT, you have one bit and it's put from 0 to 1, and it's a cat. From dog to cat. No, there's many. There's many bits that you have to modify. So this, as I said, is probabilities. They multiply. That by chance this DNA is copied and is wrong copied and so on, and then many generations, and it's many bits. It's not just boom, something. There's this intermediate species, they said, okay, if you have, I don't know what's their theory, but if you have cats which transform into dogs. Where is there should be, because it's an evolution, it's a slow evolution, so you have to have a half cat, half dog at some point, somewhere along the road there has to be a half cat, half dog, So where is it, Because now they are digging the whole earth, so they have enough fossils to see what's happening. And so how many intermediate species did they find? No, they actually found one. I told you before? The peeled-down man. You know the peeled-down man? No, they finally said, okay, they found, this was in the British Museum, They found a half man, half monkey. Something like some part of the skull was human and some part was from the monkey. So they put it in the British Museum. This is 18 something, I think. So they put it in the British Museum and they were like, ha! See, the intermediate species, haters, that's it. So they put it there and it stayed there for 40 years or something. Long time. I don't know how many years, but many years. And after some time, someone was cleaning around and they were looking a bit into this exhibit of the peeled-down man. And they were checking the different parts of the skull. They had different ages, So this one was old, a lot older, from different age, And then they found out there's some glue. So the peeled-down man, the only intermediate species is the peeled-down man, who peeled down in summer in the UK, somewhere, who stayed for, I don't know, 30 years or something in the British Museum, and it was glued, it was just one piece of skull of the monkey and one of the human glued together, like they were like, okay. So that's the maximum they went to with the intermediate species. There's none. They don't exist, They have the Cambrian explosion. If you have evolution, it should be probably exponential number of species, There should be 1, 2, 3, slow start, and then, evolving. So you have to have, the graph should be something like this, number of species, And the actual graph is that something like this. Doesn't have to. So there's a period in the time of the universe, according to science, it's called Cambrian period, and all the big species appeared then. They all appeared somewhere out of the blue, and there's no new species since then. So that's like, oh, what? Why aren't new species produced? Oh, evolution is not working anymore. Evolution came, had something to do, and then retired. Like, okay. There's many other examples. So this intelligent design society, they have this one criteria, which they say if it's irreducible complexity, I'll explain what's that, then it's not possible to be made by evolution. So this means that you have some system which has 7 parts, which is only useful after you put all the 7 parts together. Otherwise it doesn't do anything. Like for this car, if you have a car, you have to have an engine, a gearbox, this, steering wheel. So until if you have 5 parts, this gives no evolutionary advantage. Actually, it's a disadvantage because you have to carry the whole thing, around you. You have You have this big box and doesn't do anything useful. So Darwin himself said that if there are some this kind of systems, they don't apply for evolution. Because, you have just this part, 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 this part. You have 10 parts, and it's still not doing anything. And then you have to put one more part, and then now it's working. So Darwin himself accepts that this is and there are many, they use the bacteria flagellum. There's some bacteria who has something like a engine. Has a motor, I don't know, I'm not an engineer, but it looks like an engine, Has an engine who is like moving through the water, So these scientists say, hey, how about this system? How about this other system? How about this other system? How did this come about by evolution? This eye, it is so complicated, So the point is that actually Darwin's theory is not scientific. According to their framework, it's not scientific. Where's the proof for this? There's so many problems with it. And the only reason why it's still actual is because it's just an atheistic agenda. We have evolution, and there's no reason to have God. We know how things were created, so there's no place for God. Actually, I found this. There's this quote by Richard Dawkins. This is the number one atheist now. He's like evolution agenda and so on. And he says, Darwin made it possible to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist. Before Darwin, if you're atheist, it's like I don't like my father. You're a crybaby, like I don't like the way he did it. Nobody they will say, yeah, but you're just a crazy boy. And now you're like you have a theoretic some scientific proof. They're like, you're not a crybaby anymore. You're like, wow, respectable. Oh, but there's no God. We know. And so the point is, in this context, nowadays there's this trend of having devotees with PhD, which is good. In this context, it's really useful. It can be useful because we need to challenge this. And Srila Prabhupada, he created this Bhaktivedanta Institute and so on. And he wanted that we are able to also discuss on this term, at least some of the devotees. So the point is that it's not made to, nowadays devotees go to school to make a living, okay, we have to adapt to this society and, if I have a PhD, then I will eat better. But Srila Prabhupada didn't want, that was not the idea of Srila Prabhupada. His idea was that we go to university to challenge, to discuss. Hey, let's see, let's look into it. So if you have a PhD, of course, it can be useful. Now I go to universities, and the toughest place is mathematics and physics. They have a mathematics and physics university. And generally, the way I distribute books to students is like, hey, nice person, you're a nice person, I'm a nice person, nice book, bam, 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 bim. Okay, they give donation, read it, okay, goodbye. So it's like very human-like, like, hi, something very. And you go to mathematics and physics, every second person will tell you, yes, the soul, but Darwin has proven that there's no need of God. So you're just a religious fanatic. Usually they will tell you this, and some will just not tell you, and they'll be like, religious fanatic. You're low. So it's useful. Then there I go. I train in the morning. I'm like, okay, today is gonna be a fight. So I go to mathematics and physics university. It's actually fun, because I'm a bit prepared. So like, okay, let's go. So, did you create life? How? Where? Okay, let's see. And this theory, yeah, I know, but this. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada also wanted us to have this, but of course he wanted us to be educated a bit differently. He wanted to. Our program is Brahmacharya Ashram, farms. That's our program. He didn't want us to leave Harinam Sankirtan, like Anupama Prabhu met with Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, and Maharaj was asking. He was telling me. He said, Maharaj asking, so what are you doing with your life? He said, with my parents, and nothing very clear. And Maharaj said, you have two options. You do Harinam Sankirtan, or you go on a farm. Finish. It's like, what? So that's our two options. That's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. This is our main options. And if you in the meantime, if you have to survive somehow, and maybe some devotees need to get a job, but we should understand that this is not the Prabhupada's project. We have to survive some in the meantime. We have also restaurants and so on. We have to distribute prasadam, which is also part of the. So this is our project. We have Harinam Sankirtan, prasadam, and farms. That's it. That's our program. And then because this assures that we are independent, which is very important. When you preach, it's important to be independent. They say, what does the result of the scientific study depend on? And the answer is, it depends on who is financing the study. So it depends, who's paying. So we as devotees, we also want to be independent. We have to be scientists. We have to be. So then we have to be able to. If we want to preach, we have to be independent. We have to say, this is our results of our study, and if you don't like it, Otherwise, if you're dependent, then they will say, I don't like your results, you don't eat, we don't pay you. Like, oh, well, wait a minute, maybe that in the US at some point they were eating cereals, and there was some scientific result which showed that if you eat ham and eggs for breakfast, then you're more healthy. So-called scientific, someone probably paid it. So people started to eat the ham and eggs, which is not probably, not even from a mundane perspective. So because scientists. So the point is that it's good to have Harinam, Sankirtan, Prasadam, and farms. Then you're independent. Then they will not be able to tell you, hey, we don't like your philosophy, you don't eat. Okay, no problem. We have our food. By the way, we have a lot of potatoes here. Don't worry about it. If you close your shop, we're still good. So Krishna is God, by the way. So then you can preach. I'll just say a very short. So today is also disappearance day of Srinivasacharya. He's the first. He's coming from the first. Sankirtan, traveling Sankirtan party, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivasacharya, and Shyamananda Pandit. So they took the books of the Goswamis from Vrindavan and they went to distribute them. And there was this king who he had an astrologer, and his astrologer said that this is there's a huge treasury coming through your kingdom. And he said, okay. The king was friends with a band of robbers. They were like working together. And this band of robbers said, the king was like, hey, these guys are coming, huge, a lot of gold probably, jewels, stuff like that. So they went there to rob these guys, and there was three sadhus and probably a few more people, but not much, So they're like, okay, sadhus, big coffer. So they took the coffer, they brought it to the king, and the king is like, jewels. And they open, and there was all the books of the 6 Goswamis. So, of course, we know that Srinivasacharya stayed there to recover the books, and he was preaching to this king, and then this king became a devotee. The point is that the books of the 6 Goswamis are, the astrologer was right. It was a huge treasury. The astrologer got it right, and we should. It's very important to distribute them and help Srila Prabhupada challenge this so-called scientific society. And this book is also. I really like it. We should have it also in Slovenia. It's good, especially you go to scientists, like, okay, read this. Okay, here's our challenge, I'll stop here if there's some comments, questions.
This amino acid and protein, what they get, actually, it's only part of cells and proteins. It's not it's not alive by self. It's only part of cell, and this means nothing work without some life.
Of course.
That's fitting that we get something. It's like I say, okay, I get helmet. I need only motor. Helmet is helmet.
Yeah, but the point is that they don't even get proteins. Because they are like, in your example, they say, we have a helmet and we have now I just need a bicycle and okay, everything is good. And then you look, but you don't even have a helmet. The probability of you getting a helmet is 0 by your process that you are proposing. So, So, they don't have even the helmet. It's very hard to create a helmet. And someone created so many helmets.
Okay. Yeah, in this cell, what you explained, what have motor, it's very, very complicated machine inside in one cell. It's really like propeller. And they said, okay, if it's this very simple life, must come by evolution to this very complicated machine, but nothing was before. It's one cell. It's only it's starting from this cell. It's nothing. It was not before this cell. How came so intelligent, complicated? How to say? New York inside.
The initial idea was that there's some pieces of the puzzle which look very similar, But it's like saying that Peugeot 207 came from Peugeot 206, by evolution. Like you're looking, hey, like maybe they had a common design team, There's a design team, and they put, like I was working in this industry, and they put, okay, this part we put also on the 206 and 207, okay, and this part is a bit different because it's one is smaller, one is a bit bigger, and so on. But yeah, that's it's the same.
They know that this is theory. and that you cannot prove it by how I explain. You need all these pieces that you prove it that by experiment, whatever, that you prove it this theory. But right now they don't have nothing more of this theory. It's very shame to say, we not believe that come from God, but from outside we really not know how come this, how come life and all these things. But it's better that we have this theory. The problem is that they teaching in school something what is not theory, like this is evolution exist here. It's not. It will be fair that they in school teachers say it is some theory what have lots of holes in his but we don't have nothing better. That's why we accept this, but it's not proof it. They don't say like this.
No,
they
of
say,
course.
No, it's coming by evolution.
Of course. And that this intelligent design society, that's their work is they are actually proving, they are actually proving that the most plausible theory that there was some intelligent design, So they scientifically, by probabilities and so on, they can get to this point where they say, actually the most plausible, so we should accept the most plausible, is that there is some intelligent, it's all coming from some intelligence. We cannot prove how this intelligence looks like and this, that there's God, or you can call it, but so scientifically they get to this point where they say, the most plausible is that there's a creator. So that's the most plausible scientific theory, according to science.
It's very shame for Catholic Church that the Pope say, can be evolution, but also coming from God, because there also say shame of these books that it's coming from Adam, rib or something, can be evolution. It's very, I don't know, but now it's supposed to be more in trouble when they see so many proofs that is not working this evolution. But you cannot now go back and say no. It's we find it now that must be something from other from Adam ribs, and it's, I don't know, they're making compromise.
We also as devotees we make compromises. We say our Vedas are correct, and also psychology is correct. And also this is correct, and also this is correct, and we should be we should stick to our parampara, and that's the example of Srila Prabhupada. Old man, 70 years old, not so much education, going to the US, and they say this is like this, and Srila Prabhupada said no, because it's not according to the Vedas. So Shukadev goes, from an external perspective, you say, what's the qualification of Srila Prabhupada? Well, he had only one qualification, what matters, Okay, I stick to the message of the Vedas. So we should also do like that, That's a very important point. We should stick to the message of the Vedas and to our Guru Parampara. And not make this compromise. I also was like, what? You're a Christian, you're a Pope, you have to stick to the Bible. I don't know. You have to update your Bible, revise your Bible, find what Jesus Christ said, whatever. But you have to find out what the Bible says.
You must have faith. This is the first Shraddha, is the first one steps in in spiritual process.
Shastriya Shraddha. Faith based on scripture. This is perfect. So we have to be able to go in an intelligent way. Prabhupada is using many arguments. It's not just saying Veda says. It's using logical arguments. It's like, okay, this is perfect. We stick to this. No problem. And this is the beginning of our life. Okay, anyway. Granted, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.